super hard engaged support there. You might have problems actually getting onto this poke composition. All in all, T1's comp here looks super solid. I feel like even if they fall behind, they have ways to get back into the game. And if they get ahead, it's just with a comp like DRX's, they're in for a really, really, really bad time. So this is interesting to me because DRX, as we said before, have the worst stats pre-20 minutes. This is not a composition where you can afford to fall behind pre-20 minutes, right? Like, you're looking for early turrets, you're looking for vision control, and you're looking to snowball one of your two solo laners so that poke becomes obnoxious to deal with, and then you can actually contest objectives. But DRX have drafted themselves into an interesting position. I'm feeling pretty good about my T1 is going to win game 1.
Down the lane, it doesn't look like anything's going to amount to much down there. Becca, though, is going to be ignited. He has to flash away, and Bao, trying to take the trade, will take a bit of extra damage on the back foot. So a nice trade.
Pressure, which means that Pyosik is actually going to pick up his first mark. And maybe looking for a play on bot.
Yeah, they're going to go for the Alistair. They want to get that root, but not actually going to amount to much, but they still have the damage. First blood will go to Keria.
Is Pyosik going for a greedy invade here?
This is pretty greedy. I mean, Faker's going to have the first roam from the mid lane. He does get the smite and flashes the shockwave, so he has to burn his flash.
I get very hard. Faker, though.
Ooh, that's a miss on the bubble, but he takes a bunch of damage and he wants to flash here. You were talking about the timing.
DRX actually solidifies by teleporting to that one as Keria goes in.
Oh, the ult goes down first, though. Pyosik able to get it. Will he survive? He's going to have to flash again. That is very thankful that he got that down right before he got charmed. About what the follow-up is down the lane, as we got another big trade up in the top side. But Kingan just trying to take out this turret, and looks like he may just be able to. Yeah, he's going to just go for it. He takes the trade, and he just slaps him down. Says, Zeus, get out of my rift. You are nothing compared to me.
And then Bounce, yeah, just make sure that you stay alive. There's so many limits being tested here, right? Every time, like, are they going to die? Is someone going to get taken out? And it might happen here.
Wow. Yeah, he's dead. And they have a little bit of pushing power here in the mid lane. This game is a little bit all over the place. Note that Pyosik picks up a mark in the enemy jungle as this is happening.
And then the main question becomes, are you actually able to deal with this T1 comp? I think that DRX as a whole skilled pretty well. Need to be careful.
Oh, Keria, he's looking for names. He wants Bao, and Kingan in the front line tries to get it onto Gumayusi, but that is not going to work. He will be taken out, trying to save his AD carry.
Keria's just been playing so well this entire game, and this is the problem with DRX's composition. You can't overstep.
Oh man, you cursed him. Why'd you do that?
I'm sorry. Okay, Keria.
What are you doing?
I didn't mean to.
Okay, they're okay to go for this one. Keria's got a nice little flank angle down on the bottom side. We'll see if he can convert this one, as Becca will spot him. Over the wall he goes. That's a huge paddle star. Keria now into the back line, but that is a massive Kindred ultimate. It saves so much damage. Can they turn this one around after that? Look at Bao's positioning. It is just huge, as now everybody was laughing at him for the beginning of this game, but he is going to pick up a triple kill and maybe pick up Faker. No, that's going to be the ignite from the Zoe, but that all came down to the massive ultimate from Pyosik. After the Lambda spike is a little bit much, as Solka here, not really sure what he's doing, but he's going to be able to get to the Lambda spite. Thanks, Mr. Pyosik, once again, for saving his life this time around. Like late game Orianna Zaya, which is still unbelievably strong. So we have to note and see how these fights are going to go down, as that's not going to be the Zoe smite coming in there. As a little bit of a sleep comes over, here comes really fast Becca as Bao, well, nice little disengage there, I suppose, from the side of T1, as everybody from DRX really wanted to get in there. Oh, they got Faker. I think he's just dead. Yeah, he's just dead. They slap him down on the bottom side. They got the Banshee's Veil earlier on, and that might just be it. As you mentioned, no Orianna means no Shockwave. Gumayusi's going to take a bunch of damage. And man, DRX, they are on top of their game tonight, looking really pretty clean here in this one. And with the Baron, they'll be looking to push this one in. The poke, just not much they can do against this one now. Keria will give it one last try. That is a pretty fantastic engage, but the damage is just way too much. On the side of DRX, they are going to shut them down and fully clean up the side of T1 for the victory here in game number 1.
I think it's looking very good for T1 going into a second game, because this was supposed to be their highlight point, right? This is where they're the strongest traditionally, game number 1, but instead DRX with a dominating performance here.
Yeah, and I feel like you can mostly see the way that this game is played out based on LM's damage, and it's not that he played it poorly, it's just that there was never really a hard engage where he was able to get into a fight and do anything.
Welcome back everybody for the Friday's LCK, and this is our first analyst task of the Friday, joined by Changyeon Lee, Gorilla, and Kuro. Welcome guys, and this is Season with the translation. Welcome back to the final analyst task of the first round robin. So it was a clash between the 4th and the 5th place team, DRX and T1. And in game number 1, DRX was able to kind of flex on their opponents with their mechanical skills. DRX wanted to play around their top side with the Jace and Zoe pick, but I was a little bit curious about this Kindred pick into Olaf. I think Udyr is actually the champion that can match the clear speed of Olaf, but this Kindred pick was actually really smart, because Udyr is not a champion that can actually protect its teammates, whereas Kindred can perfectly save his teammates in a very risky situation. And in this kind of comp, DRX really needs to play around the Baron, and they should not make any mistakes, and they did make it happen. And there are some teams in the LCK that has a very strong bottom duo. So those kind of teams kind of try to pick the AD carry in the very later phase of the pick. So T1 completed their topside comp in pick 1 and 2 and 3. But they actually got caught off guard with the power of Zoe that came in very lost from DRX. I guess DRX was able to find their perfect comp from the get-go in the draft. So now let's take how the game went in the game. However, T1 actually was making a very smart decision-making here, where they conceded to Drake and also was able to pick up a lot of points. So here comes the trade between Zoe and Orianna. And that Slip actually landed to Alistar. Looks for an engagement, but Keria activates his ultimate in order to interrupt him, which kind of actually made it even more difficult for DRX to lock down that kill. Had that engagement actually worked out, Kindred and Kai'Sa would have just dived onto the Orianna and locked down the kill, but super play coming out from Keria saved Orianna. But because Rakan's and Orianna's ultimate was down after that play, T1 didn't contest for that Drake at all. Instead, they traded with the mid-first turret, and also they picked up the kill on Kai'Sa as well. Prior to this fight, T1 actually stacked up 2 Drakes already, so they weren't feeling too much worried about the Drake try coming out from DRX, so they quickly rotated to the mid-outer turret. However, DRX was really on point in terms of mechanical level, so let's take a look at this highlight where they played perfectly in this team fight. Rakan is a really great initiator, but at the same time, he needs a follow-up from his teammates. But Faker, at that point of the game, he had no flash, so he had to walk all the way around the wall in order to take a poster around this Drake. Because DRX has a very strong poke comp, T1 was a little bit forced in order to open a team fight, so Rakan was looking for a flank angle, but right before he went in for his engagement, actually Zoe and Nara get chunked down by the poke damage coming out from DRX. However, it seemed like T1 also found the perfect skill combo with their engagements, but Kindred was also doing a fantastic work with that Lance Respite. And Bao was able to re-engage, flying back to the backline of the opponents with his ultimate. T1's decision was not wrong. You have to take the agenda of team fight before the opponent starts off the Drake or land too much damage onto themselves, but Soka was getting a lot of work with just that poke damage. Now let's take a look at the player of the game on the side of DRX, and it's gonna be Soka on that Zoe pick. I can predict here this was going to be a very controversial POG, but still Soka is the one taking away this POG in this game. Even though T1 had a very strong teamfight comp, Soka's Zoe was doing fantastic work, kind of zoning out the opponents with his massive damage output. At the same time, Rakan actually paid a lot of visit over to the mid lane in order to exert more pressure during the laning phase, but Soka was doing fantastic work absorbing all the aggro, and that slip was really critical for T1 and it costed them this game. It kind of reminded Kuro his old days when like all the players go 1, 2, 3 and lend all their skills when they find the CC. So very nice teamwork coming out from DRX, and we had a bit of a contest between top and mid, but Soka walks away with that POG, and today's winner. And DRX, if they win today, they can lock down their spot in the first place and keep their hope for the playoffs.